What if you woke up tomorrow in a city at the bottom of the sea, a place where people shoot lightning from their hands, control fire with their minds, and trade their humanity for superpowers? Sounds like science fiction, but in Rapture, it's just another Tuesday. In today's video, we're testing your chances of surviving in Rapture, the failed underwater utopia from the BioShock universe. Could an ordinary person withstand the political wars between Ryan and Fontaine? Would you resist the temptation of superhuman powers, even knowing the cost to your sanity and flesh? We'll dive into the science behind Rapture's engineering, the philosophy that tore its society apart, and the genetic dangers of Adam. Ready? Because the real question is, could you make it out alive?
Son, you're special.
What if I told you that we already have the technology to live in an underwater city? Not just a submerged base, but a real metropolis with skyscrapers, neon lights, and glass tunnels. It sounds like fantasy, but building something like Rapture is technically possible. Though living there would push the limits of engineering, biology, and human patience. Rapture lies about 150 meters deep, almost 500 feet, in the North Atlantic, the equivalent of a 40-story building. At that depth, the pressure is around 15 times greater than at sea level. A human being wouldn't survive without adequate protection. Modern submarines can withstand that pressure, but a human body? Not for a second. The location near the Mid-Atlantic Ridge provides access to geothermal energy, heat from the Earth's depths. This powers Rapture's lighting, air filtration, and entire infrastructure. Without this natural energy source, sustaining an underwater population would be impossible. Now think about the glass tunnels connecting the buildings. To withstand water pressure, they would need to be at least 14 inches or 35 centimeters thick, similar to oceanic research vehicles. Ordinary glass would shatter instantly. But water pressure isn't the biggest problem, it's time. Salt water corrodes metal up to 5 times faster than air. Without constant maintenance, cracks, leaks, and seepage would become inevitable. When Civil War broke out and workers vanished, Rapture began to die, slowly. Could we build a Rapture today? Partly. Structures like the Aquarius Reef Base in Florida already function at shallow depths. The Hydropolis Hotel in Dubai was designed to be 20 meters deep. But nothing has ever come close to Rapture's scale. And if you lived there, your survival would depend on location, technical knowledge, and a lot of luck. Areas near emergency tunnels would be safer. Luxury apartments would have stunning views, but would become death traps in case of leaks. The deeper you go, the crazier the challenges get. Material weight, oxygen supply, heat, cold, it all piles up. But even if you survive cracks, leaks, and crushing pressure, there's something far more dangerous waiting for you in Rapture. Because not all collapses start with walls. Some start with ideas. Imagine arriving in Rapture for the first time. Stepping out of the bathysphere into Art Deco halls bathed in light, promises of total freedom, and scientific advancement without ethical limits. It seems like paradise, until you have to pay rent. Rapture was built on Ayn Rand's objectivist philosophy. According to Andrew Ryan, rational self-interest is the pinnacle of morality. In other words, no taxes, no government, no limits, and also no help, no aid, no mercy. Now imagine you're a regular worker, up before dawn, fixing dangerous leaks in corroded tunnels, barely earning enough for food and shelter. Make one mistake? Instant dismissal. Get hurt? Good luck affording private hospital bills. Inequality in Rapture wasn't a flaw. It was part of the design. The elite lived in Olympus Heights. The workers, crammed into Apollo Square, arrive without money or connections, and you start at the bottom and rarely move up. With no labor laws, accidents were routine. And without public health care, any injury could mean death. Clinics like Dr. Steinman's only treated those who could pay. And that was when he wasn't turning his patients into art. Chronic stress became epidemic. Depression, anxiety, mental breakdowns, all of it fueled dangerous addictions. Desperate people would do anything to survive. The only ones thriving were entrepreneurs selling luxury goods, weapons, or entertainment to the elite. Without startup capital, you were just another pawn. And even if you survived this jungle, a new temptation would emerge. Adam. The real downfall starts with a syringe. What would you do if one injection could give you superpowers? Move objects with your mind, freeze an enemy, shoot fire from your hands. In Rapture, this wasn't fiction, it was addiction. Adam was discovered by Dr. Brigid Tenenbaum from a rare sea slug. It produced stem cells with absurd regenerative capacity. When manipulated, these cells could rewrite human DNA in seconds. In real life, gene therapies use viruses to insert new genes into the body. Adam does this instantly. It's like fast-tracking millions of years of evolution with one syringe. But there's a catch. The body rejects these mutations without Eve, a biological stabilizer. Without it, your cells self-destruct, causing unbearable pain, tremors, and collapse. And that's how addiction begins. It starts with a harmless plasmid. In days, the body needs more Adam and Eve just to function. Thomas, an engineer, used Adam to fix pipes faster. Without Eve, his hands shook so badly he couldn't work. The addiction became a necessity. Tumors, deformities, seizures, the brain takes severe damage. Hallucinations, violent impulses, paranoia. What was once power becomes degradation. In Rapture's cutthroat, isolated environment, resistance was nearly impossible. Over 90% of the population succumbed to Adam. The scariest part? Adam changes your body permanently. It's not something you just quit. You transform, you worsen, dose after dose. And when an entire city becomes mutant addicts, you're not living in a utopia. You're trapped in a nightmare. Welcome to Civil War. Picture yourself hiding in a maintenance closet. Outside, screams, gunfire, explosions. Ryan and Fontaine wage war over Adam. Rapture is no longer a city. It's a war zone. With Adam running low, battles intensified. Plasmid-wielding soldiers fought over key areas like Arcadia and Hephaestus. Ordinary citizens forced to fight or flee. If you wanted to survive, you'd need a safe place with food, tools, and an escape route. Abandoned markets, maintenance areas, or tech rooms would be your new home. Surviving without plasmids means relying on conventional weapons. Revolvers still work until a splicer learns to teleport or electrocute you. Shotguns and traps are crucial, but the best strategy? Stay unseen. Splicers move fast, ignore pain, and attack in groups. Learning their sounds, a Houdini's hum, a spider's crawl, can mean the difference between survival and becoming a statistic. Food and clean water become precious. You'll need to filter leakage water, find canned goods, and most importantly, stay quiet. Surviving Rapture means more than just avoiding death. It's about outlasting a city that never wanted you to leave. Would you take the risk and try to escape? You've survived months in Rapture. You've avoided plasmids, hidden from splicers, scavenged food, found water, and maybe even carved out a bit of peace. But now comes the ultimate challenge: escaping a city designed to be a prison. The only official way out? The lighthouse, hiding the bathysphere station. But Ryan locked the controls with his genetic signature. To an average citizen, they're just sealed capsules of frustration. Hacking a bathysphere might be possible, but it's risky. Ascending too quickly could cause decompression sickness, like a balloon inflating too fast, leading to a deadly explosion. And what about the emergency capsules? Most were destroyed or taken during the initial chaos. Finding one intact is like playing Russian roulette in splicer-infested corridors. Could you build your own escape pod? Theoretically, yes, if you had access to Rapture's technological arsenal and survived long enough to use it. Places like Hephaestus are overrun with mutants. The most insane plan? Wearing a Big Daddy suit and walking along the ocean floor to shallower waters. But the pressure, cold, and lack of oxygen would make it borderline suicidal. Even if you did survive the walk, there's another problem: nitrogen absorption. Your body, adapted to the depth, would be saturated with nitrogen. Surfacing too quickly without decompression would cause nitrogen bubbles in your tissues and brain, a condition known as the bends. Painful, fatal. Escaping Rapture isn't just a matter of finding a way out. It's about overcoming engineering, medical, and survival challenges, all while evading Splicers and Big Daddies. But even if you do make it out alive, would Rapture ever really let you go? So, would you survive Rapture? For most of us, the answer is a resounding no. The combination of ocean pressure, extreme inequality, genetic addiction, and the sheer lack of escape routes makes survival almost impossible. But maybe the scariest thing about Rapture is how much it mirrors the real world. Whenever inequality rises, profit outweighs human life, or science advances without ethics. We're not that far from Rapture. What starts as a utopia can always sink under the weight of human ambition. Would you risk it all to survive, or would you sink with the city?